And it is actually the stages of how Kundalini moves within our bodies and within this journey generally. That's what we call the dark night of the soul.
It's possible that the snake, first of all, is two snakes, one yin, the other yang, and they start to meet, right?
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, and thank you for all your lovely comments. It's really nice to be back on the channel, isn't it?
Yes, it's wonderful. Thank you so much for all.
For everything, yes. Today we would like to speak about something very, very interesting, and it has to do with Kundalini and twin flames, of course. Even though it's not just with twin flames, that's generally how Kundalini works. But because the two are very closely related.
It's much more than what the title represents. We're gonna speak something amazing. We got a big download. We actually have been thinking of this generally all over the world, but we didn't associate with twin flames yet. But today we got this confirmation. It was very good.
Exactly. And it is actually the stages of how Kundalini moves within our bodies and within this journey generally, because there's a specific pattern how things elevate, they go up and down, just like pretty much anything. If you have studied economics, that's what they teach us there, that on the market there's always times of going up. We reach the peak, and once we reach the peak, things drop.
Yeah.
And that's just the natural way how things are. That's not just based on the psychology of people, but this is something that is very true to nature. That's how nature works, pretty much.
Yeah. So basically it's like a snake, technically, because the snake cannot move like a worm. She has to go left and right in order to be able to move forward. So this means that we are supposed to go through each left and right in order to advance in our life. And going left and right is what is the most tough and difficult, but it's just how life is. And we have a very good comparison for nature. I've been saying this for a while, I think. I even made a video, but I don't know if I made it in English. I made it for the Portuguese. That there's like during summer there's like an up and down of heat waves, and it becomes, just because the summer is coming doesn't mean it will go from 10 degrees mild days all the way to 40, gradually increasing. It actually can go, let's say, 1 week 20 to 30, and then the other week 20 to 10, and then the other week will go higher. So we have like up and downs during the summer and also during the winter. And I thought this was just, life like this, whatever. But apparently this is the way for
general cycle.
Cycle. Even the DNA is twisted. Everything is twisted.
I learned this from you about the temperatures, and it was so fascinating because at the beginning it didn't impress me very much, but then I started to follow the weather, because we had to follow much closely the weather now that we do some gardening and things like this. And even in the winter, sometimes because we have mild winters, we want to plant something outside, even in December or January, when in many places it's already too cold, so it's impossible. But here, because we have these stages of a little bit warmer days at some point, this is thanks to exactly the cycles that you're talking about.
Yes, I named it warm cycle and cold cycle.
Exactly. And when you start to follow the temperatures, I recommend you guys do that if you haven't followed the weather for a while. Get an app, whichever you like. It doesn't matter if it's like 100% true, it will be relatively true. So get an app and start observing this process. It's so fascinating to see how we have a warm cycle and then always comes a cold cycle. And on top of all, what I learned from you as well is that these cycles have different lengths. depending on the season as well.
Yes, if we are at the beginning of winter, we're gonna have something like, let's say, 1 week warm or 2 weeks warm, and then another 2.5 weeks cold, and then as we get deeper into the winter, we get, let's say, 3 weeks cold, for example. It might not be true, but it's like relatively, and then 1 week warm, and then it becomes less as we enter into the spring. So it starts to shift and becomes balanced again, and then it's incredible.
I think the shift happens around times of the year when the day and the night are equal.
Yes.
It's like a point where these two meet, and from then on it starts the other way around.
Yes.
So these are our turning points when we talk about the Kundalini, this movement.
But there's also another thing which is very complicated, and I wish someone will know this. I'm still studying. Because all of this, the cold and the warm and things like this, these are the yin yang, and obviously the twin flames are yin yang. They're complete opposites to each other. But it's like, how come we are not in August yet, far from August, let's say June or something, and the sun stops to become longer during the days. It starts to decrease. But we still are getting warmer and warmer until August comes. That's the most craziest thing I've ever thought. And this cannot be, you cannot just judge this like this. It's very complicated. But
that's exactly so, because on the time when the day and the night were even.
Yeah.
Now we have 2 times this, right?
Yes.
In the spring and the autumn.
Yes.
It might be not exactly so. It might be from the peaks, when we reach the peaks.
Plus, there's another thing. There's the Capricorn.
Yes,
and
that's
the
right. Because when they are equal, the night and the day. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's okay.
When we have the night and the day equal, that's the middle part of the thing. So yes, I was not right. It's the other way around. So when we have like the longest night, we are on the one turning point, and when we have the longest day, we are on the other turning point.
Yes.
And that's why it starts this process that we cannot really understand it. But once we meet the middle, again, things kind of normalize. So I think both turning points are imbalances in a way, but the balance is pretty much on the middle. And why are we talking about all these guys is because all this is reflected in the twin flame journey and generally in the Kundalini journey. So we have these periods of, we reach extreme yang, and then we have to turn to go towards the yin, and we meet a point at some time when things are more balanced, but we continue our journey towards the extreme yin, and once we reach it, that's the other turning point. Usually the dark night of the soul we experience on one of these turns. That's what we call the dark night of the soul.
It's possible that the snake, first of all, is 2 snakes, one yin, the other yang, and they start to meet, right? Now, the other thing is that I think at the beginning of the relationship, the turns are longer. It's possible. And then at the more towards the end, I mean, not that the relationship is going to end or anything, but let's say more towards the finer relationship
I got another
stage.
vision.
So at the beginning is rough. At the end is more like the refining. When you are used to your twin flame, I think the turns are shorter.
I think it's also like a pyramid. So we have this, but at the beginning it's very long. And the more we go up, they become shorter. So the times between the yin and yang extremes become shorter and shorter and shorter.
And there's another thing. When you reach the end of this pyramid, guess what? There's a pyramid from another parallel reality which is upside down.
The other way around.
So it starts to open again.
Yes.
because we always have to have two things facing each other. That's just how life is.
It's mirroring.
A bacteria will always multiply into 2, 1 times 2, 1 times 2 constantly, or 2 times 4, 4 times whatever. And the same, there's not one snake, there's 2, there's not one pyramid, there's 2. So it's continuously like this. And after this that we are telling you, maybe there's something we don't know yet. We'll find out.
And I got something else I want to say regarding the yin yang thing. I actually came upon this during a past life regression that I did for a very beautiful soul. That within this journey, I think when we are on the yin cycle, we start to look into the darkness of ourselves so much that we don't see our bright side. So there is such a moment here, and for some people this is almost like an endless thing. Like they tend to look more into their dark side, like they dig so much in it, they constantly search and search that they don't see the light in them. And usually these people have very big light, guys. It's fascinating how the people with great light, they almost don't see it within themselves. They just keep on focusing on their darkness. And this also has to do with the same cycle of the yin-yang energies. The balance, imbalance. We constantly go through this, and it's okay. There's nothing to blame ourselves about. It's more about what comes to the surface, what we are observing, how we are analyzing it, how we are using it for healing. Because it's always about healing, right?
Yes, this journey is individualized between the two twin flames journey, so your journey, but there's also a bigger picture of a huge snake or double snakes for all twin flames at the same time. So it's almost like we have the individual, and also this individual journey observes the bigger picture, like almost like Earth has a twin flame, for example, and we have to follow this vibe as well. So Earth is also alive, and it is like upgrading every time. With or without her, she's going to upgrade itself. It doesn't matter if it's like on the materialistic level, could be on the emotional, could be on the spiritual. There's frequencies on Earth, you know this. There's like hundreds of frequencies, and these frequencies are constantly in tune and going from one to another. They don't stop. They just Earth just goes to another frequency, just like with the Schumann resonance. There's this vibe is you could see it as a big snake, a big transformation, just like this. Yeah. So there's sometimes your journey, for example, comes to a stall, but the Earth didn't, for example. Yeah.
There's hundreds and thousands of parallel realities based on all this as well. And it's interesting because I'm going to speak about pretty much this later on for the Bulgarian channel.
Okay.
Of what we actually see when we come out of the body. The perspective from out of the body state. It's very interesting. I'm very grateful that I went to experience this. You also.
I did also.
Yes, we open to a totally different new point of view by being there, and also experiencing a little bit of teleportation and
all
other
this
states
happened without being together yet, like proper. So
well, we did the experience out of body afterwards.
Afterwards, yes, but I think it was more like focused on what exactly we're gonna have for the two of us. As when we were not, it's like it was more like projections of the world itself. We got something. You got something super powerful before we met. This was at the very beginning. This was amazing as well. It was very nice.
If you find that interesting as well, we are inviting you for our workshop this Sunday. It will be finally on 3rd of December, and we're going to speak what is upcoming for Twin Flames in 2024, because there's exciting times coming.
Yes,
I think for everybody, and
if you are
It'll
in
be
the journey,
interesting, very interesting to
if you
observe.
are in the journey, that's why I said last year or 2 years ago, saying, like, I don't know the title, but it was something like "Be Together with Your Twin Flame Now before it's too late." And I really meant it, because if you're not, then what happens is that the earth will never stop, will continue its way, and if you get back on track but very much behind, you have to do the whole work still, and while the others are a little bit more ahead. It's just for you to remember that it's not easy. The journey will get paused and will only continue when you step in back. So it's like this.
It's always like this.
Yeah.
Kundalini can be gentle as well. She's not all this just being harsh on
Yes.
people. And if she feels that it's not the time, you're not ready, she will take a pause.
Yes.
Indeed.
I'm amazed we put it in words, because usually we take hours just to talk this between each other.
Yes, it's super difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, it was nice to be with you again, guys.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for your time and for your attention, comments, and care. We really appreciate all this, and see you on Sunday.
See you on Sunday. Ciao, ciao.